glasses, need my hearing aids. Got a crutch? Can't do it. My hearing is leaving me in the treble, in this part. Now, I hear this good, so that if I hear this well, I drown this out. Really love to play the piano, but things are bad now with my hearing. I don't go to the piano very often, and I miss it a lot.
Well, the thing, when you get older, there's things that you can't do. They tell you, like with me, I can't drive a car.
I've witnessed that I can't do things like I used to do.
I can see the face falling, you know. It should be like this.
Being alone, although I shouldn't say that because I was most of the time I was alone. But it's just at night. I don't have anyone to hug me, to kiss me goodnight. And getting up in the morning, kissing one another, good morning, you know.
I think it's important for our caregivers and resident assistants and other people who are working in our communities to realize that our residents have gone through a lot of losses in many instances over time. They may have experienced the loss of a spouse, losses of friends, maybe even the loss of their children. These are very difficult situations for them to deal with. They're dealing with their own ability to deal with their own physical losses, and many times residents are beginning to suffer or are actually suffering depression.
The loss of physical appearance is probably the most visual, so it stands out the greatest for residents. Ladies who had beautiful, thick hair now have white hair, and it's thinning.
Everything is geared to the young and to staying young. And God forbid you should show a wrinkle. You know, and that's pretty sad because I know with my grandmother, I mean, she's earned every one of those wrinkles. So they're sort of like her trophies.
They know that I'm old. I see it in people. They help me. Strangers, you know, oh, may I do that? And they hold the door open. I don't mind, but then is when I realize I don't look as young as you look. So you're helping me.
Hi, Marla.
Good morning.
Oh, you're doing a beautiful job here. You look so pretty.
We've had some residents in our homes who were business people. We had a man in particular who wore a three-piece suit every day of his work life, and when he moved to our residence, he still liked doing that. So it was real important for the caregivers to recognize the fact that even though this man didn't go to work any longer, still wearing that three-piece suit and his black wingtips were real important to him. One of the sad things I think about growing older is that all of your senses change and tend to diminish over time.
With my mother, the greatest frustration, I am sure, has to be her hearing loss and what it's caused. Playing the piano, it's not just that things get louder, it's that you lose tone perception.
That's what I hear. That's what I should hear. But this is what I hear. That's wrong.
And it might sound like it's a note above or a note below. She's playing the right note, but it doesn't sound right to her.
Well, hearing losses are two different types. There's the sensorineural loss, which sounds as if everybody's speaking with marbles in their mouth. And then there is a conductive loss, which makes all the background noises unintelligible.
Is there anything that you would like me to do for you tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Uh-huh. Anything you have?
We need to speak slowly and distinctly, look straight on at people so that they can see our facial expressions,
Okay, tell Francis I say hi.
touch them so that they know that we're communicating with them.
Just a Kleenex.
Mobility really differs for individuals. Some people are fortunate enough to maintain a good level of mobility to the very end of their lives. But for most residents who are in assisted living communities, they do have some problem with mobility. They often need assistance, and you have to walk a little bit slower to help them down the hallway. And remember that it's hard for them to walk and that you have to take time with them.
I find that in the afternoon, if I don't stop and rest, or sometimes even take a nap, I cannot go on. But I think when I'm not, what's his name? Thurman, the senator? Whatever heck his name is. He's 90-something and he still goes. I wonder if he takes a nap every afternoon.
There are many, many different types of eye problems. There's glaucoma. Glaucoma is where you see just the pinpoint and you miss the peripheral. And then there's macular degeneration. Macular degeneration is where you see just the outside of all of vision. You miss the middle portion of your eyesight.
For somebody with cataracts, there's a number of different effects on the eye. They just can't see as clearly, so everything looks a little bit out of focus. They're also affected more by glare. That glare can in fact be really painful to somebody who has a cataract developing in their eye. Depth perception goes with some of the macular degenerations as well as with cataracts. So for residents who may be walking along and looking at the floor, and they may think it's a step and actually fall because they're trying to figure out where that step is, and it's really just a color change in the carpeting. So that's one reason why residents, you sometimes see them kind of shuffling along and holding onto the railing because they're concerned, because they're afraid they're going to fall because they don't have good depth perception any longer.
Oh, emotional losses can include a lot of different things. Losses of friends. Sometimes we have people who come into our communities and say, I'm the only one of my friends and my family who's still alive. There's a loss of potentially the husband or spouse or wife who you've lived with, shared a bed with, shared an entire lifetime with. They're gone now, and you're left alone.
It's like I lost my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, my daughter.
Okay. So you sit here, behave yourself.
You mean I'm going to be here by myself?
No, I'll be back.
That's something that's in here that never goes away. Never goes away. You'll always have it.
It was hard. I couldn't accept it. It was hard because, after all, married almost 68 years, it was pretty difficult. As a matter of fact, our anniversary would have been yesterday, 68 years.
A loss of a home. Family members have decided that it's time to sell the home, and they've lived there for 50 years. That's a deep loss. And many, many memories are in that home.
I mean, when you think about packing up their 4-room home, taking their furniture and sorting out what can go and what can't, and what is going to go into the room, even though it's a very nice room, what pictures are they going to take, what memorabilia? They only have a limited amount of space.
Okay. Let me get this chair out your way.
What is it like for an elderly person to lose their independence? I don't know because I'm not old, but I imagine what it's like. The inability to drive. Their freedom is taken away to get in the car and drive. We take that for granted. They can't get in the car and drive away because of their eyesight, because they're unable to hold the steering wheel, perhaps.
Would you like me to dial this number for you, Mrs. Turner?
Yes, I would.
Okay, I will.
To hold a spoon, to hold a fork, to cut meat. Basic things that we do without thinking.
Here it is, Mrs. The phone is ringing.
I think, unfortunately, in the U.S. in particular, that people who are older are not held in very high esteem. They see you as somebody who has passed their prime, who probably doesn't have a lot to contribute anymore in the minds of a lot of people. They don't listen to you anymore. They don't ask you for your opinion. A lot of times, people don't even acknowledge your presence, either out in public or even within family groups, unfortunately. I think a lot of older adults kind of feel invisible. It's sometimes very hard to get to that inner person, that person that still is inside the person that we're helping in our homes. I think one way to find out about them is to talk to them.
Outstanding Achievement Award for her dedication and tireless effort at Pimlico, nurse for over 30 years.
That's right.
Wow. They have a lot of wisdom and knowledge to impart to us. And if only you take the time to spend with them for maybe 5 or so minutes, you'll gather so much from them.
I think it's important for those of us that are working with older adults to do whatever we can to make them feel like they still are productive, that they still have value, that they have a lot to contribute, and that they can have a quality of life. So I think by understanding that these are people who, even though their bodies may look old, in their minds they may still be 16 or 18 years old, and there's still that young person in there that would like to get out and do things.
The best thing about getting older, having the kids out of the house.
I know when I reached 70, I thought, oh my God, can you imagine? I'm 70. I remember when I was little and someone said they were 70, whew, they're old. And now I'm 80, and I can't believe that I've reached 80.
I didn't think I'd live to be 79, tell you the truth. I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
What I look forward to when I get older, getting to the point of being the wise old sage, just, being able to tell my story, I think, is a function of age. You get to that point that's your right, and hopefully there'll be someone interested in hearing it.
The mind is willing, the body is weak.
World smiles with you. Everybody, when you're singing, the whole world sings with you. Now when you're dancing, come on, Miss Carol, you're dancing. When you're dancing.
And in that way, we have that respect and feeling for each other. And that is a priceless gem, which comes with time. I wouldn't ask for anyone else. I couldn't. There. She plays a terrible fiddle.
Now when you're dancing, come on, Miss Carol, you're dancing. When you're dancing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying,